Your dealership is ripping you off. Do you ever feel like your dealership charges you for things you're not even sure need fixing? Like every visit feels like they're just making up problems to drain your wallet. You can save hundreds, even thousands of dollars just by learning a few simple checks that take minutes. You don't need a degree in mechanics. All you need is a little know-how, and I'm here to show you how to get it done. In this video, we'll cover 5 dead simple car maintenance tips that anyone can do. These are the things that your dealership doesn't want you to know. Checking the oil level. Skipping oil checks is like ignoring a ticking time bomb under your hood. If you're driving an older car or pushing your vehicle to its limits, high revs, high speeds, or off-road terrain, this is not optional. Oil isn't just some fluid, it's your engine's lifeblood. Without it, your engine will grind itself to an early grave. The process isn't complicated, but here's where people mess up. First, park your car on a level surface. No hills, no slopes. Gravity doesn't lie, but it can mislead your dipstick. Next, give the engine a few minutes to cool down. Hot engines mean unsettled oil, and you want an accurate reading, not guesswork. Now, pop the hood and locate the dipstick, usually labeled oil. Pull it out like you're checking the pulse of your car. Wipe it clean, reinsert it, and then pull it out again. Here's the kicker. If the oil level's below the halfway mark, you got problems. It could mean your engine's burning oil or leaking like a sieve. Either way, it's not something you can ignore. If it's dangerously low but your dashboard warning light hasn't lit up, don't breathe a sigh of relief just yet. That's just a sign your car's sensors are slacking. Get to a mechanic ASAP and don't even think about running the engine dry. A tow truck is way cheaper than an engine rebuild. Now, here's a pro tip for you. Your car's manual will tell you the exact type of oil it needs. Stick to it like the gospel. If you're unsure, don't wing it. Call for help. Better safe than staring at a 4-figure repair bill. Listen, manufacturers love to sell you on long intervals between oil changes. 15,000 miles, they say. Don't buy it. The reality? Replace your oil filter every 8 to 10,000 miles. Yeah, it costs money, but it's pocket change compared to what you'll be shelling out after 50,000 miles of neglect. Checking brake fluid level. It doesn't matter how powerful your car is. If your brakes fail, you're driving a disaster waiting to happen. Steering and brakes are your car's holy grail. If either of these systems is compromised, you're not just endangering yourself, but everyone around you. The hard truth about brake fluid. Brake fluid isn't some trivial detail. It's the unsung hero of your car's safety. Most drivers ignore it till it's too late. Here's what they don't tell you. Mixing is deadly. Brake fluids come in dot grades, each representing a specific boiling point. Mixing different types, that's a recipe for disaster. Water is the enemy. Brake fluids absorb mixture over time. If the cap isn't sealed or the seal's damaged, humidity creeps in, turning the fluid dark and weakening its performance. Handle with care. Spill brake fluid on your car's paint and you got a crisis. It's corrosive, but quick action with water can save the day. Don't ignore it. Depending on the environment, brake fluid should be replaced every 5 to 6 years. Neglecting this isn't just risky, it's reckless. What your brake fluid level says about you. Your brake fluid level isn't just a number, it's a silent messenger screaming for attention when something's wrong. At max, your braking system is healthy. No leaks, no problems. Running low, this is your wake-up call. A leak, worn pads, either way, it's a problem that needs fixing fast. How to check without screwing it up. Pop your bonnet. Find the small reservoir near the steering side by the windshield. Don't make the rookie mistake of removing the cap. Instead, shine a flashlight on the reservoir. The level will then reveal itself without exposing the fluid to air or moisture. Pro tip: never top off brake fluid if it's above the minimum. Low fluid often means worn pads. Once you replace them, the fluid level returns to max as the pistons reset. Danger signs you can't ignore. If your brake pedals suddenly feel soft or hard while the engine runs, stop everything. That's not a quirk, it's a crisis. Don't drive, get it towed. Your safety's not worth the gamble. Checking coolant level. Coolant's the lifeblood of your car's engine, yet most people barely give it a second thought. But here's a controversial truth. Neglecting your coolant is a fast track to destroying your engine and your wallet. Coolant isn't just a liquid, it's your engine's unsung hero, doing 3 critical jobs. 1. Regulating temperature. It keeps the engine at an ideal temperature no matter how hot or cold the weather. 2. Lubrication. It lubricates the water pump, preventing wear and tear. 3. Heating. It flows through the cabin radiator to power your heating system. But don't get it twisted. Not all coolants are created equal. Here are the hard facts. Mix matters. You can't just pour in tap water. Coolant must be mixed with ionized or distilled water for proper freezing and boiling protection. The colder your climate, the higher the coolant percentage you'll need. Engine specific. Every engine has a specified coolant type identified by a unique code. Forget the color, it's meaningless without the code. Pro tips for the savvy driver. Always check the coolant level when the engine's cold. It should sit at the maximum mark. While running, the level should be between minimum and maximum. If it's not, you got a problem. Coolant doesn't last forever. Replace it every 5 to 6 years, ideally during a brake fluid service. One more thing, that reservoir, it's called the expansion tank for a reason. As the engine heats up to an optimal 90 degrees Celsius, the coolant expands. When it's close to max, you're golden. Our next part is to check the air filter for the engine. Tucked away in the air filter housing, the critical component keeps dirt, debris, and water out of your engine's intake manifold. But here's the kicker. If the housing isn't sealed properly or the filter's not replaced in time, your engine's basically gulping down garbage instead of clean air. To check it, you need to open the housing, a task that's simpler than it sounds. Most housings are secured with easy-to-flip clips, though some might need tools. Once open, remove the filter carefully. If it's gray, grimy, or just plain nasty, it's done its job and deserves retirement. Paper filters, unlike your gym towel, cannot be cleaned. Blasting them with compressed air, that's a band-aid, not a cure. What happens if you don't? Think of a clogged filter as your car's equivalent of asthma. Every mile driven with it restricts airflow, chokes performance, and puts extra strain on the engine. Over time, this neglect costs you more in fuel and repairs than the price of a replacement filter. The basics of replacement. Replacing an air filter isn't rocket science, and you don't need a dealership to handle it. While your car's under warranty, make sure replacements are recorded in the service book. After that, it's on you to track mileage and stay ahead of the game. The fine print on fancy filters. High-performance filters like K&N might sound appealing, but there's a catch. The oiled variants can gum up your air mass flow sensor, leading to engine misfires and uneven performance. They're better suited for race cars or weekend rides, not your daily driver. When putting the new filter in, precision matters. The rubber seal around the edge has to sit flush in the housing. Any gaps? That's an open invitation for dirt to crash the party. And the last part of our video is the cabin filter. Did you know your car might be making you sick? Think about it. Ever notice a bad smell inside your car or struggle to get proper airflow even when your fan's cranked to the max? That's not just an inconvenience, it's a problem with your cabin filter. And ignoring it, that's a risk to your health. Let's get this straight. The cabin filter isn't just another random car part. It's a gatekeeper for air quality, protecting you and your passengers from harmful pollutants. Every car made after 1992 has one, and almost every new car today includes this essential feature. But here's the kicker. Many people think it's no big deal to skip checking or replacing it. Some even say, it looks clean, so why bother? Well, here's why. This tiny, overlooked filter can cause major health problems. We're talking lung infections, allergies, and more. In our increasingly polluted world, replacing your cabin filter annually isn't just a suggestion, it's a necessity. In fact, you might want to consider doing it even more often. Finding the cabin filter is easier than you think. Each car brand has a specific location for it, and your user's manual will guide you step by step. Most manufacturers design this process to be simple enough for anyone to handle. No excuses. You can do this. Now, here's a critical tip. Never try to clean a cabin filter. Don't blast it with compressed air or attempt to reuse it. Why? Well, over time, these filters trap humidity, fungus, and bacteria. If you're thinking about blowing that mess out with air, just picture all those particles getting released into your car and straight into your lungs. Nobody wants that. The same logic applies to your engine air filter. If it's dirty or discolored on one side, it's time for a change. Your engine needs clean air to function properly, and so do your lungs. When it comes to priorities, your health should always come first. And that's a wrap on today's maintenance tips. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more easy-to-follow advice. Got your own experiences or tips? Drop them in the comments. Sharing your knowledge helps everyone. See you next time.